Hey everybody, hope you're doing well. Today's edition of the weekly report is focused on fiduciary. And what does that mean for you? It's a term thrown around the industry all the time, but how is it related to you, the end client? And ultimately, what it means is, as a fiduciary, as registered investment advisors are, you have to put your client's interest first, versus the Wall Street model, which is the suitability standard and doing what is obviously just a loose definition, whatever is deemed to be a suitable investment for you, the end user. Today, this is something I want to talk about, is short selling. I've had a few people ask me about this lately, and want to try to explain it because it's a little more complex than most people understand. Ultimately, if you're long a stock, you're investing in a stock, expecting the stock to appreciate over time so that you make money as the price of the underlying stock goes up and your value increases. When you short a stock, you're betting that that stock goes down in value. Now, how do you do that? This is you, the investor, and ultimately what you're doing is borrowing a share of stock and selling that share of stock in the open market. Let's assume right now we have a stock that is at $100 per share. So you have borrowed a stock for $100 a share, you've sold it in the open market and realized $100 per share of the stock that you've sold. Now, assuming that the price of the stock declines in value, and now let's say it's trading at $70 per share, you can cover what is called covering your short position. So you end up buying a share back for $70, give it back to the broker, and then therefore you've made a $30 profit on the shorting of that stock. You can see there's a lot of risk associated with this. Your ultimate risk in a stock that you short at $100 per share is infinite, because theoretically a stock could go to 1,000 and double, and go to 1,000 and double, so forth and so on, until you're required to cover your short, and it may be at a point that you can't afford or whatever it might be. So really you're also paying interest here because you're borrowing money from a brokerage firm, so you have to have a margin account to even be able to really to utilize this transaction. Another way to do this is to a more conservative way is to buy a put on a stock. So let's assume the same stock is trading at $100 per share. You can buy the right to sell that stock at, say, $98 per share. And if you do that and the stock ultimately falls to $50, therefore you can sell this stock into the market at $98 per share, because you have this put option on the underlying share. The further out of the money, the further less the right you have to sell it. So if you buy the right to sell it at $70, it's going to cost you a lot less than it's going to cost you to buy the right to sell that stock at $98. And when you do this, though, the only risk of loss you have is what you pay for the option to sell at whatever price it may be. You could also buy the right to sell it at $102 per share and guarantee lock in some sort of profit, but it'll cost you more than the $2 spread to be able to do that. So the risk, though, is much more limited than when actually short selling. It's similar in philosophies. You're buying the right to sell a stock in a market when the price may be less than what you had the option to sell it for, but your only risk is what you paid for that right, versus theoretically in short selling a stock, your risk is unlimited. Hope this makes sense to you. If you have questions about it, call us, 770-984-2312. Have a great week. Make sure to check out the other videos on the report, and talk to you soon.